all these powers. And then of course the voltage is reading on the LCD. You can see it should read 11.6 volts or 11 volts or 12 volts. If you go under the power like 7.8 and the flashes of you can turn back on the LCD light just moving the toggle switch. Well, I'll just press enter. That'll be quicker. So when it's flashing, that means the battery is low. So you want it to go with make sure that you have a 11 volts or 12 volts or even 9 volts or 10 volts. Under 8 or 7, it begins to be very weak on the control batteries. So again, your joystick has to be all the way to the bottom before you turn on the joystick, the controllers. Let's do now, since the battery is in there, let's turn this off. And then now we do the pairing of the controller to the receiver of the helicopters. Let's assume that you have already charges for 8 hours. So this light should be all on solid red or solid green now. Because right now we are doing a quick lesson. So I'm just temporarily unplug this battery packs. So inserting the battery pack to the helicopter is pretty simple. Once you hold up the helicopters, you see there's a little battery holder opening. So just open up the cap and insert the battery in there. You don't insert to the front, you insert to the center side of the unit. There's a red connection power cables, red and black. It should go on the same side as the connection cable of the helicopters. So this is how you insert it in. Once you put it in there, it might be hard to put, not that easy to put it in, but of course you put them in there and then you lift up the helicopters. So as long as, and also at the same time you're holding to the battery packs. So this allows the battery pack to freely insert into the complete helicopters. Well, you can do it your own way, but this is, I found, easier to insert the battery packs. And you want to insert all the way in. So once you insert into it, it should be pretty tight, and then you just close the cap. Make sure your cable is not in the way on this closing of the cap. And you should be able to feel the little clip noise when you close the cap. So that allows you to fasten the battery packs. Make sure that your cap is closed tight, because if you don't, when you fly it, the battery might drop out because it's going right side up like this. So now you have the battery cables and for the power, and then also the other end is your power to the helicopter's connections. So this should be all on one side, so you can easily connect the two. Once you connect the two, that means you're powering the helicopter now. There is no on and off switch on the helicopters. That's the only connections for the power. So let's leave this here for 1 minute. Now I'm going to show you how to do the sync. Very critical that you have to sync the helicopter with the controller properly, or else the helicopter will not fly. Even though the light's on, it will not fly. The rotor will not turn on if you don't sync it properly. So what you need to do is that you double check again. The control left joystick has to be all the way to the bottom, and then the rest of the switch, you don't have to touch it. Just leave it as 50%. It usually at 50% setting. You have two toggle switch. When the switch on this toggle at 0, that means you are free to fly as high as you want it. When you set the toggle switch to 1, now when you set it to 1, it will have an adjustment resisting right here. It resists the height elevate of how high you can adjust it. So if you wanted to fly like maybe 3-4 feet or 5 feet, you can adjust it by limiting the height of the flying of the helicopters by not turning this knob. So clockwise will allow you to go higher for the settings, and if you set it initially in the middle, or counterclockwise to reduce the altitude or the height flying of the helicopter initially. So basically this left toggle switch is for you to control your high and low flying of the helicopters. That's what we call the limit switch of the throttle, which is very helpful for beginners if you set it up properly with the limit switch of the height control. Okay, let's initially we set it up with the toggle switch at 1. Initializing right now is through turning on this controller. Once you turn on the controller, you have about 8 to 10 seconds, and you have to do it real quick because once you pass that 8 to 10 seconds time frames, you have to turn it off, and we turn it on again to do the power to the battery packs of the helicopters. So let's do it. Turn it on, and now immediately you plug in the battery to the helicopters, and the lights will turn on, and you will hear the initializing of the servo sounds, and then you hear the second beep of your controller. That means it's ready. So all you need to do is right now to do a test. Your right joystick allows you to move the swatch plate. You can hear it. So your right joystick to do the test is left and right, forward, backwards. So you can feel the swatch plate is initialized. Don't touch the throttle stick unless you put the helicopter first into the ground. So now you have finished initializing. For some reason, when you move the right joystick slowly and you don't hear any sounds to the servo, which is on the helicopter, you don't see anything that moves on the swatch plate, that means you did not set it up properly. So you have to turn off the radio again and unplug the powers. Well, you unplug the power first before you turn off the radio at all time when you turn it when you have to finish playing. So let's do it one more time. Let's unplug the power first of the helicopters when you finish, and then you turn off the radio. So basically, if you want to play, turn off the radio and plug in the power. When you finish, you unplug the power and you turn off the radio. That's the sequence you have to go through. If you do it reverse, or if you turn off by mistake the controller before you unplug the power, there is a chance the helicopter might fly out or will take off without any kind of controls, and that will be very dangerous. So please keep that in mind carefully. That will finishing. That will allow us to finish the initial setup of how to control and connect the radio to the helicopters for the initial setups. In the later sections, I will show you how to do the flying of the control. Once you're able to finish do the initial stage.